Stay with KAMC News, your local election headquarters.
Lots of ladies' boots up to 25% off at Dollar Western Wear.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jen Phillips. A fan of South Plains politics? You are in the right place. Another week of national news, but this is a local politics show. So let's talk about what everything happening across the country means for us here in the Hub City. Here's Talking Points.
From the studios of KAMC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points.
I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy.
Thanks for joining us. A lot can change in a week. President Biden suspended his re-election campaign this time last week. And since then, support and endorsements for Vice President Kamala Harris have been rolling in. She'll remain the presumptive nominee for the Democratic ticket until the Democratic National Convention. That happens next month, but we'll get to that later. First, a conversation with a Lubbock man who just returned from the Republican National Convention, where he served as a delegate and cast his vote for Donald Trump to become that party's nominee. Well, last week we saw over and over, we spent night after night with the RNC, and I have someone here who was there in person. So this is Gus Kahn. Thank you for being here and sharing what you do. I want to know more about you first.
Thank you, Jen, and KAMC for having me here. Pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Full name is Gulrez Khan. Everybody who likes me, they call me Gus.
Cool. That's what we'll call you.
Thank you. I'm a co-owner of a pretty famous home health and hospice care called American Star, along with my business partner, Asif Qamar. Been part of the Republican Party for several years, Republican Party of Lubbock. This is my third consecutive term as a precinct chairman with the Republican Party. And earlier this year, I ran for U.S. House of Representatives, Congressional District 32, in the Republican primary. So if it's a federal election, you can run from a different congressional district. It was my patriotic attempt to convert a blue district into red.
Okay.
And then went to the, as a delegate to our state convention, San Antonio, this year. A couple of years ago, I was Sergeant at Arms at the Republican State Convention in Houston. 2020, I did get elected as a national delegate, but it being in Florida that year, President Trump decided not to do it in person, so it was done virtually. Back in 2022, and this interview place reminds me of when I ran for mayor of Lubbock in 2022. I was interviewed here with Brian Mudd.
Yeah.
That went well.
Yeah.
And this year, with God's grace, I got elected as a national delegate to the Republican National Convention, which just took place in Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're really glad you're here because we see things, you know, happen on TV, and yeah, we like to think that the cameras catch everything, but your experience there in that room, it's got to be so filled with emotion and all these different things. Talk with me a little bit about what you just came back from. I can't imagine that you aren't sleeping 12 hours a night at this point.
Well, a very good question. You know, firstly, being an immigrant to the United States, Indian American, born and raised in India, blessed to be an American, to be able to get an opportunity as an elected national delegate to vote for my favorite President, Donald Trump, and for him to be a presidential nominee, everything was surreal.
Yeah.
Okay, the camera or the videos or the pictures do not do justice of how you feel when you're inside that event, that hall, Pfizer Forum, as a delegate on the main floor. It's surreal and, you know, electric. I can compare it to if you combine Super Bowl and Grammy Awards together.
That's great.
If you blend them, 10 hours a day, 4 consecutive days, that's how the feeling was. And when I met, you know, every day in the evening when our session started, President Trump was there along with his family, and he stayed throughout the session, all the sessions.
Yeah.
And every day, Monday through Wednesday, I was able to be within 10, 15 feet of where he was.
Yeah.
And final day, when he accepted the nomination as our Republican presidential candidate, we were able to go pretty close to the stage where he was. And I was pretty much like 5 feet away from him.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
I wanted to see how somebody who's been immensely blessed by God, he's born in the United States, multi-billionaire, very successful in the public eye for over 4 decades now, very influential, was our 45th president, now going to be 47th president, hopefully. Like, I was expecting to feel, the power and influence.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, around him was totally different feeling.
Really?
Yes, I felt like I was in a company of an apostle.
Wow, okay.
Like a prophet from the scripture. I did not feel, and that aura around him was like stepping inside a sanctuary.
Wow.
Yeah, I still got chills, and I got chills at that time too. So that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Very overwhelming feeling, very pleasant feeling.
Yeah.
So I feel when God blesses somebody with so much, he gives them that aura. God gives them that X factor where people are drawn to you.
Definitely.
I think it's that aura where people are connected with him. They want to meet him. They're drawn to him.
Yeah.
And probably that's what led him to being so successful and being president of the United States.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you see on a camera, or could probably even portray on a camera. So,
right.
Yeah, and not a typical portrayal of that man, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this kind of feeling, and I've met, people and there are a few other legislators. I feel the same way about them.
Yeah.
Congressman Arrington, Dr. Ronnie Jackson. But again, and I've met other senators and governors.
Yeah.
But I was, when you're around them, you can feel that aura of power and influence.
Like a lion in a village. When
Absolutely.
they're there. Yeah.
With President Trump, it was, and I'm not being biased because I'm Republican or I like Donald Trump. It's just I wasn't expecting this feeling.
Yeah.
This is the best I can describe in words.
Yeah.
It was just a great feeling.
Well, it's good that you say those things, because you're bringing this account back, and
Right.
Not all of us can stand 5 feet from a former leader of the free world. I mean, that's insane. So a really, really cool thing. What other takeaways do you have for someone who didn't get to go, or maybe even didn't watch, but what do you want them to know?
Right. See, this is an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody, first of all, should get out and vote. The power of vote that we have in our great nation. There's like something like this there's no other America.
Yeah.
The democratic structure we have, the constitutional republic that we have, this is the privilege that we get.
Yeah.
And don't take it for granted. At the same time, I would encourage everybody at the grassroots to involve themselves in the political process, be involved in the local Republican Party, or whichever party they support. Be an active part of the democratic process, and everybody, I feel, should, whenever we have our presidential elections, everybody should try to get to precinct conventions and county conventions, state conventions, and get elected as a national delegate. If not, maybe an alternate delegate. If not, we had a lot of guests with us as well. Everybody has to experience the ultimate power of a democratic structure, which you can experience only once you're there.
Yeah, yeah, really, really cool, and not something that can be matched by any other experience.
Absolutely.
Or country, honestly.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here. It's not a story we get to tell very often.
Well, I appreciate you having me here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.